Martha, oh my god.
The drama surrounding the Netflix show Baby Reindeer just got so much worse.
To people who are watching this and who still doubt you, what do you say to them?
I think you should watch this. I think you should look at the number of articles that Richard Gadd and Jessica, the actress, have done. I think you should look at him saying, I am some sort of myth.
She's a nutter, you can see it in her eyes, or I can see it. She's definitely a nutter, look.
Case and judge for yourselves. I had 4 phones.
You have 4 phones.
I like keeping people on separate phones as well. And maybe that makes me a maniac or a stalker or something.
Oh god.
Hello Donuts, this week we covered the show Baby Reindeer and how its fans were stalking the real life characters that were portrayed in the
Jesus
TV
Christ.
series. Well, after fans found the real life Martha, she has recently came out and done an interview with Piers Morgan live on his YouTube channel. I'm sorry, but what kind of reality are we living in right now? This genuinely blows my mind. Before we get into the interview and dissect it and find out what she's telling the truth about, what she's lying about, I just want to highlight Piers Morgan for a second. The fact he has actually platformed this woman, if she is the real life Martha, is kind of disgusting. It's genuinely outrageous because he knew how much money he would get off this, how many subscribers, how much attention, and
he'd have gained a lot from it. I just wonder how much he would have paid her. I wonder how much she got paid to get on there. Surely he gave her a good sum, because it's like, he knows it's hot, it's the latest story at the time. Again, I'm very late, guys, but I gotta talk about it.
in general. I'm looking at it now, and as of recording this video, the interview has 6 million views. And that's in 24...
Bro, wait, when did the video come out? Let me have a look at that. What should I do? Real Martha interview. 5 months ago. Oh, so it's not that long ago. It come out this year, yeah, earlier this year, 5 months ago this year, the show. Cool, yeah. So I'm about 5 months late, but 15 million views.
Hours. The interview is also 54 minutes long. Now, obviously, I do YouTube as a job, so I kind of can work out around about how much he probably made just off this video already. Just in the first 24 hours, he's probably made about £50,000, and that's just off YouTube ad revenue.
Damn.
Never mind every other platform he probably
50 grand.
posted this interview on. And obviously, all of these views have come because of the real-life Martha being on there. So surely she should be paid very well to be on this because she's bringing in so much money
he know
for
how
him.
much he
It
got
came
paid?
out that Piers actually only paid Fiona Harvey £250 to appear on his show. I'm sorry.
£250. 250. He gave her £250. Bro, this is definitely the real Martha. She needs that money. That's despicable. Look at Piers Morgan again.
Sorry, but that is
Been doing it.
outrageous. So
Just been
basically,
doing
he has
it,
took
the
advantage of this clearly mentally ill woman for his own gain, which, to be honest, doesn't actually surprise me because, let's face it, it is Piers Morgan. But £250, like, that's not even 1% of what the video's made in its first 24 hours. Moving on, let's break down the full interview with the real-life Martha, Fiona Harvey. Also, just a side note, every time I think she's telling a lie, I'm gonna drink. Right, I'm drinking some gin, so
He'll be
so one of the first things that
She
Fiona
lies the
comes
whole
out
way.
and says is that she's not seen any of the show.
Have you watched the drama?
Not at all. I've heard about the court scene, about the jail sentences and all this sort of stuff.
She's capping. Let me move over here so you can see homie. She's capping. You could just see in her eyes that she's lying.
But you really haven't watched any of it?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not curious?
Drink. That's it. There you go.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
but straight away,
That's
I'm
staying there.
already calling bullshit. You've definitely watched it, or at least watched an episode. I'm sorry. If somebody said to me, this person's made an entire Netflix documentary.
Nah, she would be obsessed with it. She would have watched everything about it. Watched it multiple times. Now is probably stalking the one who played Martha, who played herself. She's one of them. I could just see it in her eyes. I could see.
documentary series about you. I'm watching that just to make sure that, you know, they're telling the right tale. Which I do find odd because
She's
later in
lying,
this interview
man.
she says that she's suing Netflix for releasing this show.
And you will categorically be taking legal action.
Absolutely, against both him and Netflix.
But later in the interview as well, she claims that the character that is
The way
being
she
portrayed
speaks, bruv.
is not actually her. Which just blows my mind, because how can you sue Netflix for a show that you haven't watched that you say isn't portraying you?
What you're saying is that proves you cannot be Martha.
Yes, and I would like to see Netflix's evidence for that.
And you're 100% sure it's not you.
Yeah.
What legal foundation is that? That's like me just going, you know what, I'm just going to sue the Vampire Diaries, not seeing it. Don't know if the vampire's trying to be me, but fucking give us your cash. I'm going to take those bastards down, guys.
Literally, it don't make sense.
He then goes on to say that 99% of the show is basically fake, even down to the fact that Richard Gadd never offered her a cup of tea, which Richard Gadd claims in the show is basically the start of how all of this unfolded.
And he's working behind the bar, Richard Gadd. He offers you a cup of tea. Is that what happened?
No, that's not correct. He didn't offer me a cup of tea. Nobody gets anything.
He might as well drink again. You could just tell, bro. You could just tell she's really bitter and she's like, I don't know, man. She needs to be watched. We need to keep an eye on her because she's probably busy doing some shit right now.
Free from the holy arms.
It's even like the mannerisms, like the fact she said there, nobody gets anything free from the holy arms. It's like that's how she was exactly portrayed in the show. Like, it's crazy how accurate they got her. Like, Jessica Gunnan, the actress who played Martha, never met this woman,
man.
didn't have really anything
She
to
done
base
amazing.
it off, but she got it exactly correct somehow. Also, I wonder if like one of the producers.
Yes, Doc Dabs, my brother. Welcome in. I appreciate you for popping in, father. I finally got the short mic. Let's go. I hope the audio's a bit better now. It should be warmer, father.
Of the show had like the opportunity to do one of the
I hope you're
funniest
doing
things
well.
ever. Like, if Fiona was just backstage, like I hope that one of them went up to her and just went, "Alright, love, would you just like a cup of tea?" That would have been increase.
He interrupted a
Comedy
conversation.
gold.
There was another barman there, and he said, "Oh, you're Scottish," and basically commandeered the conversation. You know, I was talking to somebody. It's pretty rude to interrupt. So he seemed to be obsessed with me from that moment onward.
I mean,
You see, oh my God, you see that, and I remember this part. She's like flipping it like he's obsessed with her. But you was the stalker. Bitch, you are a known stalker. This is where you know, like, there's something not right in her mind, something twisted in her head.
I want to know how Richard Gadd is feeling, because we as viewers don't know what the 100%
Let's go, bro, yo.
and truth is. The only two people that know
excited.
the truth is Richard Gadd and Fiona Harvey. They're the only two people. So when she straight away in this interview says it wasn't me obsessed with him, it was him obsessed with me, what are we supposed to believe? This is genuinely like an extra episode of the show. They could have wrote this in the show, like Jessica Gunnan as Martha going on Piers Morgan and talking about it, and you'd be like, well, that'll never happen. Well, it is. As you can see straight away, like the tone of the interview, like where she mocks Richard Gadd for interrupting our conversation, calling him rude, she definitely feels a negative way towards him. And
100%.
also the way that she like responds to the questions, it makes me think that she has watched the entire show.
She definitely's watched the whole show. I'm telling you, she's obsessed with the show. She's probably still watching it now. I've just discovered it and she's still watching it now. 100%. They're obsessing about every scene, every moment, knowing that it's real and very accurate. Oh my God. What a story. It's still in my head.
Because surely, if somebody says to you something like, "Oh, did this person offer you a cup of tea?" You'd be like, "Wait, what?" That just like you'd be so flustered and so confused. Like, she already had her answers like ready-made. So this just tells me that she has watched that show over and over
100%.
and literally had an answer for everything prepared. I don't know why she wouldn't admit to watching the show. Like, I don't know if it's a pride.
Nah, yeah, it's definitely her pride. I was about to say pride, surely. But yeah, I think it's definitely got to do with her pride. And it sort of reminds me of in the beginning of the show when she was a waffler. When she was just a liar, like she's a lawyer. She's got all of these friends, Gordon Ramsay. You know, the beginning parts of the show, I was thinking, what a waffler. And it seems like her real life version is the same. She's just a waffler. Goes on to say that she's got a lawyer boyfriend she's been with for 5 years. She hasn't, clearly not. But yeah, she's gone into that default waffling mode.
pride thing, or if she kind of doesn't want to give Richard Gere the satisfaction that she's watched it. I was trying to work this out in the whole interview why this was. Let me know why you think. I thought that I would feel sorry for Martha. I feel like Piers has like got her on the show and he's probably just gonna pepper her with questions and she might kind of fold. However, like, we're only 10 minutes in and she's done multiple jabs at Richard Gere, whereas Richard Gere in his interviews has been rather nice about her, even though she apparently has done all these things to him. Moving on with the interview, another thing that I just find kind of weird is she keeps doing little jabs towards Jessica Gunnan, the woman who apparently played her in Baby Reindeer.
But you do...
I swear to God, that's probably her next victim. She's probably working on the actress that played her. Oh my God.
look and sound very similar to the actress in the drama.
I haven't seen the actress. We're both Scottish. We've both got dark hair.
But she's not Scottish though. She's English, playing a Scotswoman. Trust me, I went down this rabbit hole.
She's considerably younger than me. I think she's about 18 years younger than me.
Sorry, right. You haven't seen her, yet you know what her age is, you know her hair, you know how many years younger she is than you.
Obsessed. We need to keep an eye on her, I'm telling you.
So you've clearly seen her. Just admit it. It's fine. This instantly contradicts to what she said at the start of the interview where she actually mentioned the actress by name.
I had a vague idea then. But the Daily Mail then approached me on the Wednesday.
And how did you hear?
I saw on BBC Breaking News that he'd sold to Netflix, and both he and this character, Martha, this Jessica actress, seemed to be promoting.
So you have seen her. You even know her name. Straight away, she's starting to get she's lying. Get caught in these little white lies, like lies that they have nothing to do with what she's accused of, just things she shouldn't even really be kind of lying about. There's also this clip of her putting down how Jessica Gunnan looks.
Now again, there is obviously a resemblance between...
Do you think so?
Well, a bit, but
That's hardly flattering.
Well, I don't mean to flatter you or not flatter you, I just...
Bro, she's a psycho. Yeah, man. See the way she reacted there? Don't know if I should find that flattering. And the way she looks at the camera, oh my God, she's a psycho.
So,
well, a bit, but
that's hardly flattering.
Well, I don't mean to flatter you or not flatter you, I just think there is...
It's like a scene of The Office. That's hardly flattering. Anyone? No?
God.
Like, did you do that little look to the camera? Also, why are you putting down her looks? Like, why would you say that? There's no need to say that. This woman's done nothing to you. She's just doing her job. She has literally said nothing negative about you in any interview that I've seen. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen any interview where she mocks you. Moving on with the interview, there is like a couple of more occasions that I'm just shocked that she's not shocked at some of the questions that are posed to her, considering she's never seen the show.
Is it true that you caught Richard Gere looking through your window after he followed you home one day?
False.
You never saw him at your house?
I didn't see him at my house.
Yeah, but then how would she know about all that if she'd not seen the show?
Impossible to look through a window.
Like, before Piers even finishes the questions,
she
it's like,
knows.
false.
Some
of that in the series. What? Sorry, what? Sorry, he poked through what? I'm sorry, but she says that she only met Richard Gere a few times. If I'd only met someone a few times and then somebody told me that they were spying on me and looking through the window of my home, I would be like, mate, what the fuck? Why did nobody tell me this? Piers then brings up the exact number of messages.
She's seen it. She's seen it multiple times and she knows it's true.
That she apparently sent to Richard Gere.
In the course of your relationship with Richard Gere, you send him 41,000 emails, 350 voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
That's simply not true.
That's simply not true. What the hell?
If somebody was sending somebody 41,000 emails or something, they'd be doing how many a day?
I mean, that's not really relevant though,
It
is
doesn't
it?
matter.
Like, we don't need, like, sure, we're working out here, we don't get extra marks. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why does that matter how many a day it is? It's
Yeah,
like she
who
instantly
cares?
tries to invalidate it because it is a crazy number. Like, any normal person wouldn't be able to send that many emails, and I feel like if she is lying, she's kind of trying to show us how stupid that is. Although she could be telling find the truth, and she could be like, look, genuinely, that's crazy. How could one person send that many emails? That's why it's so intriguing,
Sickness.
because I genuinely can't tell. By the way, guys, just quickly before we proceed with this interview, we're
41,000.
closing down on 400,000 subscribers. Click subscribe now to join the Donuts, the best community on YouTube. You'll have loads of these style videos to binge watch when you're bored. Let's get back to it.
Netflix have said that these details are the real ones. That this is exactly
completely incorrect.
So you're
Where would
denying
anyone-
sending anything to him?
There may have been a couple of emails.
Text
but
messages?
No.
This is where I
Nope.
kind of feel a little bit tricky about it, because for me, I would like to think that Netflix did their due diligence with this, right? Like, if Richard Gadd has said to them, this is a true story, surely
And they
they've
would
asked
have.
for
Yeah, they would have. They would have at least investigated. They wouldn't just go off on the merit of his word. Then every Netflix series will be, this is a true story, this is based on a true story. Everyone will, no, they have to do that. They have to do the due diligence to find out if it's true or if it's not. Definitely they would have done that, definitely, because then if not, then what's she talking about, suing Netflix and him? And no way, they would have definitely clarified it.
evidence. They wouldn't just go, oh, okay, that's great, let's run it. They would know they could be sued for this because they've portrayed it as a true story. So surely their law case must be watertight, because they wouldn't run this show. However,
Yeah,
if they
100%.
have and they haven't done their checks, then I do
No,
really feel sorry for
impossible.
her. She then goes on to
I don't think there's a world where they could do that. But if that's the case in this one, then she's got millions to collect from them, and we would have heard about it by now. It's been 5 months. We would have definitely heard about it. But no, it's because it's true.
deny that there was no Facebook messages sent or no text messages, only a couple of tweets.
There may have been a couple of emails.
Text
but
messages?
No.
Facebook messages?
No.
Did you tweet him?
I may have done years and years ago.
You actually tweeted him numerous times.
The only reason she's admitting to the tweets is because we all found them. Like, she has to admit to that. Like, if she denied them, she would just look silly. So she knows she kind of has to be like, yeah, look, a few years ago, I did send them. But with the Facebook messages and text messages, we just have to take
delete
our
'em.
word for it. Like, there's no proof for us because we haven't seen the real life ones. We've only seen them portrayed as in the show. And this makes me think, like, do you think that Richard Gadd's going to do a response to this? Like,
No,
does
I
he
don't
need
think
to
he
do a
has to,
response
nah.
this? Does he need to show the evidence? Because it just seems like like Flanders Field at the minute. It's like just no man's land. And as Piers kind of pressures her on this, she then admits to sending 10 emails. So we've went from no emails to a couple of emails to 10 emails. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
hey,
definite.
if we're lucky, by the end
She's
of this
done
interview, we might
41,000.
actually get to the 41,000. You never know, Piers. Keep pushing. She denies a lot more stuff that happened in the show. For instance, she says that she never hit Terry, who was Richard Gadd's girlfriend in the show. She said that she never sat outside his home for months on end. And to be fair, I'm more inclined to believe this because I do feel like sitting outside his home for months on end in the show, that was very dramatized, like when she was like freezing cold and all that. I did think like that seems a bit far-fetched, but then it's all far-fetched. You know, it's really hard to kind of find the truth in all of this. However, one thing that I did find fascinating about the interview is when Fiona was shown a part of the show. Now, she says she's never seen the show before and she was reacting to this live, and I just find her facial expressions quite telling.
You're charged with the stalking of Mr. Donald
she's
Dunn
seen this.
between the dates of the 14th of August 2015 and the 22nd of March 2017.
Look at her. Why is she looking up like that? She literally looks like a nutter.
What's with the eye roll? What's with the...
Yeah.
As if someone's just had the worst fart of their life.
Yeah.
His IBS always going up.
You were charged with the harassment of Gerald Dunn and Eleanor Dunn.
Now, again, I just want to be kind of seeing this from both sides. Like, if this is in fact her first time watching this, and this is an experience that she might have went through, this would be quite
Yeah.
emotional. Watching
Yeah,
somebody
you
play
wouldn't-
you in something
yeah.
that happened in...
Yeah, you wouldn't be eye rolling and acting the way that she's acting. She's clearly knowing it's the truth, and she's obsessed over the show. Definitely, she's been watching it non-stop since it's come out. But Yeah, what a character she is, man.
Your life, that was probably quite traumatic for you. Like, I can't imagine what emotions she was feeling watching this. Like, it genuinely would be a bit upsetting, especially when you're live and there's millions of people watching it. So she actually did really well to keep her cool here, because I don't know if this was me, like, how I would handle that. But again, somebody wouldn't accuse me of stalking them. So Fiona then says after this clip that she's never in fact went to prison, and then this leads us into probably one of the darkest parts of the interview, as she admits to changing her surname from Muir, it's like M-U-I-R, double-barreled with Harvey, to just Harvey after her parents got divorced. Now, I didn't know this, so I just searched the name Fiona Muir, and the first link that comes up is this: Baby Reindeer, Fiona Harvey's real name uncovers 25-year-old stalking case. Now, Piers goes on later in the interview to talk about this. I don't really want to get into this because it's not really about Baby Reindeer, and that's what I want to keep the topic on for this video. But Piers tries to kind of hint to her to say, is the reason you actually dropped a part of your surname because it's linked to this case? And she denies that. She said the people in that case that she was apparently stalking, they were the ones actually stalking her.
Yeah, she's flipped everything. That's what she's done. I've seen it.
Which is like perfect. Fiona, when in doubt, just channel your inner fuckboy. Gaslight the bitches. Like, hey, it's not me, it's fucking you. What are you going to say to that? Nothing.
It's not a villain and victim storyline. I think you're left with a lot more than that. It's kind of two lost people.
What's your response to that?
I think they're milking it for all it's worth for the money. She doesn't even sound Scottish in that interview. Her
Yeah, no, that's because she's not Scottish. She's not a Scottish woman. She's an actress acting like a Scottish woman. Look, see, she's obsessed by her. I swear to God.
accent seems to be varying.
Well, she's not. She's English. She's an actress.
I was going to say it sounds more Lancashire to me. Yeah,
no, she's English.
Which
she's an actress.
See, it's like
what does that have to do?
It just kind of.
What does that have to do with it? It's deflecting it.
Confuses me.
It's true.
It's like she's trying to draw the attention away from what the actual matter at hand is. Like, nobody cares
100%.
if she's Scottish or if she's not. Like that. Again, that's not what we're focusing on here.
That's how you know that this Fiona, the real Martha, she's actually obsessed now by the actress that played her in the thing. I swear.
It's like a diversion tactic. I don't know if it's so she can kind of think of what she wants to say.
With the little sly little digs at her, the little disses. Man, she's been doing stuff. What's she doing?
In her head before she actually says it. She's like buying herself some time. From her point of view, she is getting peppered in this interview. Like, it's relentless. Like, Piers is on her. He doesn't give her a second to breathe. She then goes on to talk about her opinion on Richard Gard and discusses their relationship.
Is it possible he was under the impression that he felt sorry for you?
No, I never got that impression at all. I got the impression that he was all out for himself, very, very inarticulate, very full of himself.
You see that? You see how she's just dissing him. She's literally a hater. I promise you. She's just a hater, and she can't get over that. She can't overcome it. She's a hater.
I've gone in that bar.
Do you wish you never had?
Yes, absolutely.
Should have never got in that bar. Right, discussed it before. I'll be bantering.
Bullshit.
Oh God, it's just awkward. It's like she's kind of palming this off as if it's kind of not serious at all. It's almost like how I see it is she's got this act. Whether she's telling the truth or not, that's not what I'm going on about. But she's putting on like a strong act here. It doesn't seem that genuine.
He only worked there on certain days.
Did you always go on the days he worked there?
No, I've been in there on different days having food.
Sorry, I am trying to see this from both perspectives, okay, but that just looked like the biggest lie ever. Did you only go on the days that Richard was there? No, I went on other days, food.
He says Richard Gere doesn't see you as a villain, but as somebody who is unwell and needs help.
Well, he maybe should look a bit closer to home, to himself, as someone who needs help.
It's kind of cold. She's kind of got him there. She's like, I'm mentally unwell. What about you? Uno reverse, slap bang in the middle. 90 plus 3-minute winner.
You think he's mentally unwell?
Yes, I think he always was.
That's
whether
bad.
there was an alleged rape or whether that rape was real or conceived in his mind, I think that would make him more.
They're talking about, that episode 4 now,
Damn,
and she's starting to say it's like
episode.
Allegedly that happened, and like she's basically inferring that Richard Gere could have made that up.
Yeah, and that's really fucking dark of her to do that. How dare she infer that he's just made that all up in his mind and is really milking it just for the money? Bloody hell.
He's just said that.
There's
as a
some truth to
throwaway
it, for
comment
sure.
to try and invalidate all of Baby Reindeer. That would have ruined his entire life. In the show, he even says how it changed his life. So for her to come on in front of 5-6 million people and invalidate that, like, I can't imagine how Richard Gadd is feeling. Like, the trauma that he's went through, and then the trauma that he's went through to relive it. It's almost like a kick in the teeth for him. Even though he probably doesn't value her opinion, that still will be horrendous.
Nah, she's really like bitter about it. I get that sense that she's really bitter about it, and she can't seem to let it go. It's destroying her heart. Let me turn on the light.
For him to hear.
He says that people shouldn't try to find out the identity of the real people in the drama. Do you give him credit for that?
No.
He actually tweeted.
Do you know, this is one part.
No, she
that,
just
like,
really hates
sitting
him.
on this
She hates
kind
him.
of for a couple of days. They didn't do the best job of hiding them. Jessica Gunnan does have a resemblance to this Fiona Harvey, and it's not hard at all to kind of find Fiona Harvey. I think Piers even says this later in the interview. He's a journalist. He could have found who she was in 10 minutes. They really didn't do a good vetting process of making sure these people aren't found.
I mean, the reason that internet sleuths were able to find out it was you was they found the tweets.
And you see how she's just sitting there going, yeah.
Found.
I mean, the reason that internet sleuths were able to find out it was you was they found the tweets that you sent throughout 2014. 10th of May, for example, 2014. Richard Gadd, did you get my recorded delivery letter sent to the theatre? So you sent him a letter then?
That was that. Sorry, you were raped, something like that.
Sorry, that's such a funny letter to
Sorry
receive.
to hear that you were raped. Love your stalker. Oh, what a nightmare.
Imagine going through, that experience, and you get a letter just, sorry about that.
From your stalker.
That was probably a nice thing for her to do. It's just funny that that's probably one of the first things she started off with.
23rd of September, my curtains need hung bad.
We were trying to encourage him because with this first show or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's great encouragement, love. I would love that, right? Like if I do a live show one day, please somebody message me saying I want my curtains.
She's a
up.
liar.
That will motivate me so much. My God.
Please go and see Richard Gadd's show. It's well written and erotic.
Yeah.
The filmed bum shots are the best. Fantastic ass.
It's a joke.
But that's,
We were
that's-
trying to
Nah,
encourage
she's really, really obsessed with him.
him.
God, I would be devastated if I was Richard Gadd hearing that she didn't actually mean that. I'd be like, what? Yeah, this isn't good, love. That was the one truth you actually spoke to us. Piers then goes on to kind of turn the heat of the interview up and ask Fiona some personal questions.
You've never married.
I know.
Have you had relationships
Boyfriends, yeah.
with men? I mean, if you don't mind me
Yeah.
being
I'm
Yeah. That means no.
heterosexual. I told the staff that relationships were out of bounds. A lot more than Richard Gadd has, I would say.
So it's like a little dig at him there again. I've had way more girlfriends than he has. Boyfriends than he has. That's like schoolgirl shit. What the fuck?
Weird flex, but okay. That's such a weird way to one-up someone. You're unbearable. Yeah, well, I've had so many more relationships than you. Yes, because you're unbearable. Why is she, trying to flex that? Surely the less relationships you've had in your life is probably the better if they were, longer relationships, right? If you've had 20 relationships, something's going wrong. Piers then kind of asks her how her ex-boyfriend will be feeling about all of this. And Fiona says they'll all hate Richard Gadd, or they'll all call him, mental. And then she reveals that she's currently in a relationship.
Do you currently have a
Believes me,
boyfriend?
yeah.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
In London.
Doesn't matter where he is.
How long-
Because she's worried and because she knows that he doesn't exist. It's all in her mind.
I'd rather.
No, I understand, but how long have
doesn't
you
5 years,
exist.
5 years.
been in a 5 year?
It's so
5
good for
years.
Brent. Yeah, I've got a boyfriend. How long? Well, that's not 5 years. I'll tell you what, he's laid down the law with me quite a few times. P.S. If you want to go.
Yeah, she was dying to say
very
that.
well be telling the truth here. Who are we to just kind of dispute that? I do think this would be very intense. Even in a 5-year relationship, if this all came out about your partner. Imagine turning on the news. You turn on the telly and you just see your partner's getting accused of being a mass stalker. You'd kind of look at her and be like,
What the fuck?
shit. Later in the interview, Piers then says to Fiona, are you challenging Richard Gadd to kind of release the evidence that him and Netflix have about this situation?
So is your point that are you challenging him to reveal this evidence?
No, I challenge him to leave me alone.
Because you're calling him a liar.
That was so
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And it's so telling because she's not. She knows she can't challenge him. He has the evidence. So, do you know what I mean? It's that's why she's just saying, I want him to leave me alone. This seems to be her tactic from her last stalking case, she's flipped it and said, "I was actually them that was stalking me." We all know it wasn't. You're a compulsive liar, and you need to be watched. And now she's saying it the same with Richard. Like, "Oh no, it seems that he's the one that's stalking me. Leave me alone." What? You're the one that was stalking him. What? That's what he was saying to you. Why are you flipping it?
She wanted to say yes. Like, you saw in her face, and then straight away she went, no. So why? Like, surely, if you are telling the truth, right, and we're believing you, surely you'd be like, yeah, tell him to release anything he's got. You'd be so sure in yourself that there's nothing there that could incriminate you for what you're being accused of.
Because she's lying.
As you say, you genuinely haven't done any of this. So surely you want them to release it. You should feel comfortable. You should feel like nothing can make you seem guilty.
Because you're calling him a liar, and you're calling Netflix accomplice.
I didn't use
lies.
those words. I said the story, the play, the Netflix show is not true.
She's clearly a very clever woman because she corrects Piers there.
And yeah, it was a show, innit? It was a play before it was Baby Reindeer. It happened so quick because it was so good. So yeah.
And obviously she has studied law because she knows the implications of her calling them a liar, like straight out. She knows that's a serious accusation that even Netflix could kind of take action on her if they wanted to.
They are completely wrong.
So they are lying.
They are lying. Yes, okay, yeah, in effect. He is lying and they are lying.
And then again there, she just came out with it and said, yeah, they're lying. Yeah. And then she was like, oh, like you saw it in her face, she was like, oh shit. It's just interesting. It's these little things. It's not disproven. It's not proving anything. It's just little things that we can kind of pick up on. She then has a message for Richard Gadd himself and then talks about what she's planning on doing next.
Gadd is watching this. What's your message to him?
Leave me alone, please. Get a life, get a proper job.
Look at that. Leave me alone, please. Get a life and get a proper job, when really it's all her that needs to do that. He's had his big break with that massive show. Finally it has come. And finally the time for him to shine has come, and yet she's reflecting it as if this is a bad time for him. She's such a manipulative bastard.
I am horrified at what you've done.
I mean, he does have a proper job. Like, what does that just seems awfully bitter. Like, that's like the most bitter thing you can say.
Proper bitter.
Like, the man has been grinding for quite a long time. It's not like he's just been blessed with this amazing thing that has had no work leading up to it. Like, he's an industry plant or something. Like, this man has really struggled and finally got his big break. And towards the tail end of this interview, as the interview kind of goes on longer and longer, this is where I feel like she kind of starts to get caught in her little white lies. And this is where Piers kind of really starts to press her even more. One weird thing is when she's quizzed about her current phone and email habits.
You only ever sent one letter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't sent that guy 106 letters.
Do you still email people?
Yeah.
Do you have the same email address you've always had?
I had 6 at one point.
Okay.
Why would you have 6, bitch?
Why do you have 6 emails?
Why would you have 6?
There's no need to have 6.
No one has 6 fucking emails, bro.
6? How do you remember the password for all those? How many emails are you getting? Especially now, where like a lot of emails have like structured things, where they have like promotion, social. Like, you kind of have your categories in one email. There's no need for 6.
6 is a lot.
Is it?
I don't know anybody with 6 email addresses.
You don't know many people then. I know people with 4 or 6.
Well, you don't know as many people. Now she's gone on the offensive to him. Unbelievable, this woman.
Emails address.
God, I don't want to be too nitpicky here, even though I have been in this video. She keeps mentioning that she's got a lot of friends. She has a lot of professional friends as well. Surely you know, if you're talking to a lot of people, like you're well ingrained in society, surely you know that not many people have 6 emails. When you even hear that, you're like, what? Like, it's a bit of a shock. If you really want to act like this normal person that you're clearly trying to be portrayed here, that you've been wrong done by this entire situation. Don't say you've got 6 emails.
How many do you use today?
I had 4 phones. I've got
And
1
4
today.
phones. She just throws it in there like 4 phones, huh?
She says there, just kind of like under the radar. I don't know why she said
Just
that.
like
But she went,
throws it
yeah,
out
I've got
there.
4 phones. Like, what? When people have
Why?
2 phones, you kind of think that's dodgy, right? If they're like cheating on their partner or something. 4! You has 4 phones! What? Unless you're like, I don't know, on Top Boy or something, and you're like a London drug dealer. You don't need that many phones, love.
You have 4 phones.
Yeah, I like keeping people on separate phones as well. And maybe that makes me a maniac or a stalker or something, but if you've got somebody
No,
on...
you are
Oh
a
my
stalker.
God,
You are a maniac. You can see it in her eyes. She's a stalker and she's a maniac. Oh my god.
That was terrifying. He
That
broke
was-
like
that
her
was
actor. Like she
terrifying.
realized, she was like, oh my god, yeah, that is terrifying. You keep
Yeah,
people on
for
different
sure.
phones for what reason?
Yeah.
Right, again,
Why
I'm not
would
trying
you
to
do
say you're telling
that?
the truth. I'm not trying to say you're lying. I just want to know what is the reason. Like, why would you want to keep that separate? What? Like, that's so much more hassle than just having everyone on one phone. Fair enough, 2 phones if you want one as like your work phone. I kind of get that. But 4? And just possibly, this gives way to Richard
Why
Gadd telling the
4?
truth, because if you remember in the Baby Reindeer series, Richard Gadd does turn up to her house. He enters her house and he opens a drawer where there is loads of phones. So this says to me, like, how would Richard Gadd know that she had multiple phones? Like, she
Yeah.
denied that Richard Gadd ever came to her house. So does that show that she's lying about that, or did she
She's
just not
gassed,
know that
man.
Richard Gadd accessed her
And
house?
she's
Like,
tapped.
this is where stuff starts to get a little bit fishy, right? I'm not talking about that tuna sandwich I had earlier. I am feeling it on my belly. Brave option from me.
Fiona, do you think if somebody did send someone 41,000 emails, 350
I think that's
voice messages,
excessive.
to you, would that mean someone's stalking someone?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it could be it could be your wife. It could be you're maybe sending emails every day about the kids or something like that. I don't know.
Bro.
Oh man, who is sending emails every day to their spouse or their girlfriend or their boyfriend or to anyone? Other than if it's work related or important documents, that's the only reason we're using the email for. Ain't no one out here communicating via email. That's weird as fuck. You got WhatsApp, you got text, you can call them. What's the situation here? Emails. And she's trying to defend it. Another telling sign that she's guilty, for sure it was her.
This is why I don't believe she's ingrained in society, and she could be exactly like how the character is portrayed. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but what partners are sending themselves emails about the kids? You just
Yeah.
WhatsApp, text, or ring. Imagine being, dear, to whom it may concern, John's shit himself again, kind regards, your wife. That's so much more effort than is needed. Signing off a message to your lass saying yours sincerely. Oh, gives us the ick. She then goes on to say what might be the funniest part of the interview.
He has said that he led you on at times, and he clearly
I gave
was.
him the brush off. He asked me to sleep with him with a big green spot in his face one day. I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
He asked you to do what?
You see how she's flipped that? You see how she just does it? Wow, it's proper telling.
He asked me to sleep with him.
Oh, that is actually iconic. I think I'm sleeping with you with that on your face. Gonna have to get that green spot off your face before you hang my curtains, love. Not having that pussing all over. This part of the interview is like a mad 2 minutes where she just comes out with like the most outrageous things. It's like her act starts to slip.
Unbelievable.
Subtly so, but the bottom line is,
didn't
I think
fancy
this
him?
is behind him. No, I don't fancy him. I don't fancy little boys without jobs.
Little boy
Little boys without jobs.
with jobs though, you might have your chance. Pierce then kind of quizzes Fiona about a time at law school, and he keeps asking her what grades she achieved, and she just won't tell him. She says like various excuses, like it was ages ago and like she got alright grades, but he keeps pressing her for exact grades and she won't give him an answer, which I find interesting because she clearly would know her grades, because she mentioned previously in the interview that she has a photographic memory, so surely something like that you wouldn't forget. Like, that's one of the biggest moments of your life, like one of the biggest achievements you'll ever do.
I just did an ordinary degree and then a diploma in legal practice.
Well,
and I did a
what grades did you get?
All right grades, but you know,
What-
I
what-
went out
what were they?
partying. I didn't do an honest degree.
Like, I don't doubt that she
just
did
keep
do a law
dodging it.
degree. Like, I don't doubt that she's clever. Like, she comes across in this interview quite clever.
Yeah,
in fact,
she
really
does.
clever. But it's just interesting.
Yeah.
For some unknown reason, she won't admit what grade she got. There's got to be a reason for that.
If it came to it, would you take a lie detector test?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Yeah. She knew she fucked up when she said yeah.
If it came to it, would you take a lie detector test?
Look at
Yeah,
this shit.
po-
That's all, folks.
possibly, yeah. I would need to consult other lawyers about
If we
that.
set one up, you would do it.
A lie detector test for what?
For what? She said for what? Oh, bitch, you're crazy, man. You crazy, mate.
That is actually comedy gold. That is genuinely hilarious. Would you do a lie detector test? Yeah. Okay, can we set it up? Well, why would we do that? We don't need to
For
do
what?
that. We're doing, what is a lie detector test, right? Should we not just play Scrabble? It's just she backtracks so quickly. Obviously, this doesn't prove, you know,
she's
if she's
fat,
telling
man.
the truth or not. It's just quite funny to see.
Nah, she's
fuck
fat,
that.
bro.
Don't know what's gonna come up in that shit. They'll probably admit as fucking Robin Little or something. No chance. Pierce then
Fuck.
ends the interview by saying to her, the audience are gonna either believe her and believe everything she's saying, or they're gonna think she's a compulsive liar, and this is her response.
Or she's a terrible liar who is capable of all of these things.
I don't lie, and I tell white lies
don't
if
lie.
I absolutely have to.
So,
She's
you
a
do
liar.
Lie. See, you don't lie, but then you said you tell white lies, but a white lie that's still a lie. I think my overall verdict of this interview, like, I
quite
don't know
simple.
how I kind of feel about Fiona as a person. I don't feel like
No,
coming
she's
on this
suspicious.
show was the best bet for her. I don't know who advised her to do this. I feel like this situation would have gone away so much quicker if she just kind of stayed in the dark. However, I don't know, like, how I would react if I was in this situation, and if I actually was innocent, I would want to tell my own story, so I do respect her for coming on. And she handled the heat quite well. She got peppered with a lot of questions and she rarely folded. But it just makes me think, like, what's going to happen next? Is Richard Gadd going to respond? He hasn't responded as of yet. Does he need to respond? Let me know. Do you think there'll be a second
don't think he
season of
does.
this show? Should there be a second season? There's so much more to discuss now. I feel like I'm left with more questions than answers. Anyway, guys, if you would like to see my complete breakdown of the drama and of the show itself, click right here, because we spent a lot of time on this video.
That was a good one. I like that. But man, is she a liar. Man, is she a liar. And another shocking thing just to find out with this is Piers Morgan, you bastard, for apparently giving her only 250 quid to do that interview. Oh my God. How shameful. How utterly shameful. There she is. Look at it now. 15 million views on Piers Morgan. Jesus Christ. It would have made loads of money from that video. Loads of money. Hundreds of grands for sure. And he gave her 250. Remember that. The greed of people, huh? Jesus. But yeah, she's definitely a liar. You can see it. She's playing that character that she played in the beginning of the show. The one, I'm the lawyer, I'm this. But this time it's her boyfriend who's the lawyer. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange. In her mind, maybe lawyers are the best. I don't know. But 250 quid, Piers. That's unbelievable.